Hello and welcome to Tools to Create a Better Life with myself, Glenyce Hughes. Thank you so much for being here. I am so incredibly grateful for you. So, the magic trick that changed everything for me. Yeah. Now it's probably one that you've heard me, if you're new here, you haven't heard me talk about it before, but chances are, if you've heard any of my shows, taken a class with me, hung out with me, you've probably heard me talk about this. It is such an amazing magic trick that I just think everybody on the planet should know more about personally. Communing. Which is kind of like communicating and totally different. So communing is where you're willing to ask the other thing or person, but mostly when I'm talking about communing, it's with other things, to co-create with you. So the place that I probably talk about it the most is either with my body or in the business. Because those are two areas that I did not commune with before. Now, the thing with communing is what we need to do is recognize that everything around us has an energy of its own. And most times we are aware of that with certain things. So we might go, oh yeah, of course, I call my car, I don't know, Krista or something. I call mine my orange magic dragon. So, whatever it is, but we often have personalized somewhat our vehicles, or we give them like a he or a she pronoun of, he needs his more gas or whatever. So we do it on some levels with some things. And what started for me back in September of 2011 when I attended my very first foundation class, which is a class from Access Consciousness, and the facilitator was chatting with a gal about bars class or bars sessions, so getting access bars is a modality. And the person was saying to the facilitator, like, how much should I charge for a bar session? Because I don't know. There's nobody in my area doing one. I don't even know what an idea of a rate would be. And the facilitator said something that I'd never even considered before. And she said, well, why don't you ask your business what it would like to charge? What? What is this insanity? And so she just said to all of us in the room, she just said, right now, if you have a business, just ask your business. And so I did that, and she was saying for us to do it in our head, because you don't need to have a verbal conversation. Energetic is the way we commune with pretty much everything. So I just asked. At the time I was doing mostly one-to-one sessions, and I just asked business, what would you like me to charge for this hour session? And it was so interesting because what it came up with was $90 more than I was charging. So at the time, my sessions were $160 an hour. And as soon as I asked, I just knew, by asking, it just popped in. Now, that's not always the way it is, so I'll talk more about that in a moment. But for me, in that moment, with that thing, it was just boom, $250. And I was like, what? Like, that can't be. I'd been in business at that point since 2002 to 2011, 9 years, I guess. So I had only ever raised my prices $5 or maybe $10. I don't remember, but I know 5 for sure. Like, every time I raised my prices, it was by $5 or, again, maybe $10, but it was never by a big $90 jump. And I was just like, no, business, I'm wrong. I'm not hearing it correctly. I had all the insanity that went with it. And then we talked further about it, and I realized it was what my business was actually asking for. And this was September. And what I just said to my business in my head, I said, thank you for letting me know, because I wanted to acknowledge that it had gifted me what I had asked. So thank you. And then I said, can you give me some time? Because what I knew for sure, just from all the other modalities and work I had done, that is if I wasn't willing to receive $250 for a session, that it would kill my business by actually putting it at $250 before I was ready. So I just, again, energetically in my head said to my business, thank you for letting me know. Can you give me some time? And by January 1st, so that's a fair amount of time, and still, slow and steady. By January 1st, I was more than ready to change my prices, and I went straight from $160 to $250. And it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. Now, there were some clientele that some of the regulars that just didn't work for, and they stopped coming. But what was so cool is there was a whole wave of new people that came. I was actually busier at $250 an hour than I was at $160. So it was interesting. The whole part of it was interesting. And so this communing piece is really about asking, and then be willing to receive the awareness in whatever way it shows up. Now, I've asked that question, whether it's about my rates or different classes that I'm putting out there, that I'm asking it what it would like me to charge or different things. It doesn't always show up the way it did the first time. There's times where I actually required to ask it specifically. So let's say you have a bar session and you're not sure what to charge it for it. You can ask business, what would you like me to charge for you? Truth, start whatever your lowest would be. Say it's $100. So truth, $100. Truth, $110, truth, $150. Like, you can use whatever increments you would like. And then when you get to the one that it's saying yes to, at least for me, there's like there's just a spaciousness with it. It's such a different energy than when I'm asking the ones that aren't it. If you're not sure, what you could do is say truth, $5, because that will give you a pretty strong indication of what no is for you in that moment. And just play with it. Again, you can't get it wrong. If you start charging $100 for a bar session and nobody comes, drop the price. Prices are good for 10 seconds. You can change them, or you could put a sale on. You could do whatever you want to do. It's your business. So don't get caught up in what if I get it wrong, what might happen, what blah, 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 blah. Who the hell cares? Have fun, play with it, start communing with it. Now, you might not have a business. Maybe you're just listening to this because, it's fun to listen to. I mean, we cannot deny that. Anyway, I do entertain myself, let's be honest there. So what you can do is use the communing with everything. And one of them, like I talked about, my business and my body being probably the top two that I've really shifted and changed over the years. So if you're looking at going to, let's say you feel hungry and you go to the fridge, instead of you deciding what you should have, ask your body, hey body, here's, I don't know, maybe you've got egg salad and chicken and tofu or something. Ask your body, what would you like? Now, some people do it's called muscle testing. So maybe you'd put the chicken on the counter in front of you and allow your body to either go towards it for a yes or fall away for it for a no. You could do that too. I mean, again, it's really just about playing with it and having fun with it. And once you get that muscle built, I mean, it's amazing to me what can occur now. Even the other day, I've been running. You guys know, if you've been listening, you know I've been running, and I'm using an app that it times it, so it doesn't do. I'm going from couch to 5K. So it's not that I do a 5K every time I run, it's that I follow what the app tells me. So it tells me, to run a certain amount of time, and then it tells me to do a brisk walk and then run again. And you just basically build up to doing a 5K running the entire time. So I've been doing this for 5 weeks now, and I've been wondering over the last couple of weeks, I wonder actually how long it would take me to do a 5K, because I'm very, very close to getting to 3K in the half an hour, but I have no clue, how long for a 5K then? And it's just been floating around in my world. It's not something I've been like, oh, I've got to figure it out. I've just been wondering. And then the other day, I had no plan whatsoever, except my body did. And so when I woke up and was doing some things, and then it was like, oh, I guess we're going to go to this park that's fairly close to us and run there. I ran there last fall a few times. It's really beautiful. And normally I just run in my yard and out in the acreage, estate and stuff. And it was just to go to this. Okay, away we go. Got there and I looked at the map because there's all these different trails. And I thought, okay, well, the longest trail is 2.8 kilometers. Not really what I was looking for. I thought maybe there'd be one that was farther. So anyway, whatever, away I go. Yeah, actually, no, it was 2.8 kilometers after the 2.6 kilometers. So by the time I got back, it was actually almost 6 kilometers that I went. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so funny. I've been wondering how long it would take me to do that. And now I know. In fact, now I know how, I can go farther than that if I wanted to. So that to me is, I would never have allowed that 10 years ago or 12 years ago or however many years it's been since I've been playing with communing with my body. It just wouldn't have. I wouldn't have heard my body. There just wouldn't have been. I would have had such a conclusion of what I needed to do on Sunday and what needed to be taken care of and all the A plus B equals C. And now at this place, again, I mean, this has been a journey, guys. I just didn't wake up and have this. It's just using these tools and playing with them. To me, this is such a big part, is just to play with these tools and the playingness that I can get a sense now when body says, okay, go to the park. All right, go to the park. Oh, take that walk. Okay. Kind of had to trick me. I mean, maybe I would have went if I'd have seen it. I'm not totally sure that I would have. So I kind of had to be tricked into doing it. But that to me is such a co-creation. Body desired to go do that. And so she found a way to co-create that with me. It's the same with business. The business, you can ask your business, ask anything, override my limitations. Can ask that, because you don't have to be at, constantly clearing and getting rid of things and all that. And you can, of course, that can contribute, but it can start before you've got it all done. You can actually start having the communion now. You can say to your body, hey, totally override my insanity. Say the same to your business. Allow the things to create with you. And I mean, I'm talking now about body and business. I did the same when we bought this acreage and sold the other one. I asked that acreage, to bring whoever it desired to own. This is the other piece with communing, guys, is we often assume that we own things. Not true, my sweet friends. As much as we would like it to be, it is not true. They own us. This house does not clean itself. This house does not, pay cash for the mortgage. This house, I am owned by this house. Hubby is owned by this house, and gratefully so. I'm so grateful that this house owns us and chose us. And I asked it. When we put our offer in, we still didn't have an offer on our other acreage. And so I asked it, I'm like, Truth, would you like to own us? I got a yes. I said, okay, can you contribute to ours, the one that we have to sell? Can you contribute to it selling so we can get here sooner? Asked that. And then with the one that was asking to be sold, because it told me it desired to be sold. So then, okay, can you bring who you would like to own so we can, keep this going? And all of it contributed. Everything will contribute if you're willing to ask and willing to receive from it. Yeah. So there's so many magical stories that I could share about this, my sweet friends, because it truly is a magic trick that changed everything in my life, in my living. You can commune with money. Yeah. That's a funny energy, guys. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, PUD, POC, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Have you ever asked, hey, all the money that would like to come and play with me right now, please show up as if by magic? Yeah, no. Guess what you're asking? And I shouldn't say you, because maybe not you specifically, but guess what most people are asking? There isn't enough money. There's never enough money. I wish I had enough money, but I don't have enough money. That's an ask too, my sweet friends. Turn that energy, just the moment you recognize you're choosing it, stop and ask, hey, all the money that would like to come and play with me right now, what would it take for you to show up as if by magic? Yeah. Another question that I love to ask every day and probably multiple times a day. Universe, how many ways can you surprise and delight me with wealth, money, and cash showing up right away? I love that question. It's such a fun question. And it takes it out of the lack and the insanity and the crazy and puts it into what you'd actually like, what you could ask for. And that's communing. Communing is the energy of gifting and receiving and receiving and gifting. So much so you don't know who the receiver is and who the gifter is. Yeah, I know, right? Like it's such a gift. If you've ever given a gift to somebody who just was so touched and they loved it so much and you received so much from their gifting, from their receiving. You gifted the present, they received it, which then gifted you, which then gifted them. It's a never ending. And that's communion. That's this willingness to ask, this willingness to drop the barriers, drop the separation, because to commune, you actually have to be the oneness you truly be. Yeah, right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, POD, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And then recognize everything has an energy of its own. Everything is communing with you constantly. A lot of times we're aware of it, but we're not aware of it till after. Maybe every time you walked by your kitchen tap, you just got a sense of something, but you didn't really stop and pay attention. And then you noticed it was dripping a day later or something. So there's these, what we call feather touches, these feather touches of energy that let us know that there's something. And if we just are willing to be a little bit more present, then that information can come quicker. We don't need to have the tap explode. We can, that's one choice. But if we're willing to choose ease and joy and glory, guess what? Yeah, it becomes so much more of an awareness, a feather touch awareness ahead of time where you can check into it. Yeah. So for those of you who are in business, I am inviting you to a few things that I've got business-wise coming up. We've got business energy pulls, which is communing with the business and pulling to it everything it's asking for. There's 3 of them starting on May 18th, I believe, of 2021, and they'll always be available after for purchase. So whenever you're listening to this. And then another really cool business creation that I'm so excited is called From Idea to Offer, which is a 5-part process which I do when I have a new creation that's asking me to create it. I commune with it and I take it through these 5 steps. So that is part of, that's what that one's about. And then of course, Online Foundation, June 14th to the 18th, I believe, 2021 once again. So come and play, my sweet friends. I would love, love, love to have you in any or all of these fun and awesome creations. Yeah. So what if you were willing to be the magic you truly be? Yeah. Because to me, that's what magic is. And the way that Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, defines magic is the willingness to be whatever is required to change whatever it is you'd like to change. And in most situations, again, from my experience, most situations, that requires communing. The magic of us is the willingness to commune with the thing or the person. Again, communing with people is phenomenal also. I mostly talk about it with, inanimate things we might call, but communing with people is also really phenomenal. But really, if you're just so willing to drop the barriers and to be present and to not have a point of view. So if you're communing, if I was communing with my, say that new creation from idea to offer, and I'm communing with it from the point of view that it needs to tell me certain things and it needs to be the way I'd like it to be and it has to be this and it has to be that, that's actually not communing. That's being a bossy bosserson. And it was really funny because when we were first creating it, I originally had the date set for the middle of May. And then it was very demanding of no. No, that was not going to occur. And I really kind of had to let go of my ideas of when it needed to be and all of that and just allow it. And I've got some magic tricks when I'm not clear with things, with communing with things that I utilize. So come on over to From Idea to Offer and I will share those with you, because sometimes in business our decisions of things, probably every area of our life and in business, our decisions of things can really impact that awareness. So I want to tell you a fun story. It's also in my book that's coming out soon. I don't have a date yet. Don't ask me, but it's coming out soon. And we were traveling from Germany to home. We'd been in Europe for weeks. And hubby and I were very ready to come home and see our fur babies. And we flew from Germany to London, and we had a connection in London from London to home. And it was a very short connection. If you've ever been to Heathrow Airport in London, a short connection is not usually your friend. But anyway, we had one. So we were on the plane in Germany getting ready to go, and then it was taking forever. Forever. Finally, the pilot came on and just said, hey guys, we're having trouble finding. There's 2 suitcases on board that shouldn't be. We're having a hard time finding them. If we can't, we're going to have to unload all the suitcases. You guys will have to get off, identify your suitcases, and blah. I mean, all I heard them say was, you will not make your connection. That's all I heard them say. And at first I went into that victim of, oh, poor me, I won't make, blah, blah, blah. And then I realized what I was doing, and I realized that I be magic. So I stopped. The first question I asked, though, truth body, do you desire for this plane to go soon? Because I thought, if body doesn't want it to go soon, it might know something that I'm not willing to be aware of. So body said yes. Okay, cool. So then what I did was, nobody would have known what I was doing. This was all in my head. I asked the 2 suitcases that they couldn't find to be so loud, to trip the people looking for them, to make it so obvious that they couldn't miss them. And just kind of stayed there. And every time I went into, we're not going to make, I'd expand out energetically. I'd get out of that conclusion and I would just be the magic of me. And then within, I'm not sure, from me doing that, it was just a few minutes before, maybe 10 minutes or something, and they came back on and said, good news, we found them. You don't need to get off. We're going to be leaving in 5 minutes, blah, blah, blah. So there's so many stories like that, guys. And not only because I'm magical, because we all are. We all have these capacities to commune with things and get out of the judgment and the decision of it being the way it's being said to us, or this is the way it's going to happen, or going into the story or the insanity. It's not choosing that, being the oneness of you, communing, asking, being willing to receive. Because that was the other thing. I was willing to receive. If my body said, no, we don't want this plane to go, then I wouldn't have done anything else. It would have just been like, all right, time to get off. So it's just the willingness to receive it all, the willingness to co-create, and the willingness to be the magic that you truly be. So anything that doesn't allow you to be the magic that you truly be, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, all 9, POD, POC, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Thank you so much for being here, sweet friends. I'm so incredibly grateful for you. Have a fabulous rest of your week, and I look forward to chatting again next week.